Hello, and welcome to day 4 of our 21-day self-transformation series. And today we're going to be talking about sovereignty. And sovereignty is one of those things that, can be kind of confused sometimes with goals or growth. I know a lot of people put out the Declaration of Sovereignty, which I have done. I've done Sovereign Keys version. Now, it's really long, but it pretty much covers all facets of it. So you might want to check that out at sovereignKey.com if you want to actually do your own Declaration of Sovereignty. But personal sovereignty is an issue which affects each of us as an individual and as a society as a whole, whether we realize it or not. Understanding it can help us to interpret what is going on within and around us. Increasing it can radically transform our existence as a whole. The word sovereign means to be in a supreme authority over someone or something, and to be extremely effective and powerful. Therefore, it is usually applied to gods, royalty, or governments. We speak of kings and queens as sovereign, even when they are just figureheads, and of the sovereign rights of nations and states. Personal sovereignty then would imply the intrinsic authority and power of an individual to determine his or her own direction or destiny. If that sounds suspiciously like free will, well, that's because personal sovereignty is just that, free will. It's the same thing. Just as being a sovereign nation means having the right and power to make decisions and take actions in the national interest without being forced to by another nation, so being a sovereign being means being able to choose one's personal actions and reactions without being forced by another person. To the degree there is free will in all such choices, national or personal, there is sovereignty. Although sovereignty means to be powerful and effective, it doesn't necessarily follow that once you have it, you can do anything you want. Whether you are a nation or a person, you also have to consider the sovereignty of others, of course. You could try to diminish or destroy the sovereignty of others to get what you want, the way nations and people sometimes do, but the human experience shows that you can usually accomplish more by cooperating more than conquering. Ultimately, however, we each have only as much sovereignty as we can demonstrate. Having sovereign rights and being sovereign are not the same thing. The way to increase your personal sovereignty is to increase your use of free will. Free will is everything. The way to do that is to decide for yourself what actions to take and reactions to have in any situation you may encounter, and to decide for yourself how to interpret your actions and reactions, whether they are freely chosen or not. For instance, if you work for someone and you're ordered to do an unpleasant task, it feel like you have lost some of your free will. But in addition to remembering that you can always quit, you can also decide for yourself that you are not working for that boss anymore. You're providing a compensated service, and you can decide to do the task because you choose to, not because you are ordered to. The point is, you can always choose your actions and reactions. Beware, though, personal sovereignty has a high price. It's called personal responsibility. And a lot of us struggle with that. As you increase your use of free will, you can also increase your responsibility for your own actions and reactions. Increase it enough and you won't be able to blame your parents, your enemies, your friends, your lovers or spouse, society, fate, Satan, or God for anything you have to do with your experience. It's up to you. If a lot of people were to greatly increase their growth responsibly, our society would undergo tremendous change. Codependent and manipulative relationships would all but disappear. Untold numbers of trial lawyers would have to find new professions. Politicians would be held accountable for their decisions, and insurance companies would have to change a lot of policies. People of different paths and faiths would be more tolerant of each other. Humanity would act more out of love than fear. Now, what kind of world would that be? And it doesn't seem like just the actions that we make each day would influence everything around us. But if you really look into the frequency you want to receive, like I always say, be the frequency you want to receive. You're putting out that frequency, and it's almost like the snowball effect. Like I was talking about with the intentions, and like when you get up and do these daily affirmations, you're setting that frequency for the day. And when you set that frequency, it's much easier to keep, like I said, the snowball effect, to keep it going. Because if you start off on a bad note, I promise you, it's a lot harder to dig yourself out of that hole. So hopefully my viewpoints can help a little bit. This is one that I kind of struggled with a little bit because, it was really just a low energy day. But I want each and every one of you to know that you are a supreme sovereign being, and it is all about